This is it, people. This is what you've been waiting for. This is Everyday Celebrity Podcast. The podcast for everyday people with everyday problems, trying to find everyday solutions to accomplish everyday goals. Let's start the show. And now a word from our sponsor. If you think you might be feeling depressed, stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, today's sponsor, BetterHelp, is here for you. BetterHelp offers licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you. Talk to your therapist in a private, online environment at your convenience. There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 plus therapists network that gives you access to help that you may not be available in your area. You just fill out the questionnaire to help access your specific needs, and then you can get matched with the therapist in as little as 48 hours. Then you schedule a video or a phone session, plus you can exchange unlimited messages, and everything you share is completely confidential. You can request a new therapist at no additional charge anytime. Join the 3 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced BetterHelp therapist. Get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp.com/everydaycelebrity. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/everydaycelebrity. It's waiting for you. Yo, welcome to another episode of Everyday Celebrity Podcast, number one podcast in Oakland, number one podcast in the Bay Area. And today, we have the most special guest that I've ever interviewed. We are in Las Vegas. I've traveled to Las Vegas to interview this woman. So, Alex Cole, what I got to give a proper introduction. She is, I believe, one of the top adult stars in the industry. She's a model. She's a very beautiful woman. So yeah, we're gonna talk about her life, how she got into this industry. So Alex Cole, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So before we get into, I know you've been on a bunch of podcasts and everyone gives you like the generic, generic questions and shit. Oh, how did you get into this and that? But I'm more focused on your upbringing and how you became the woman that you are.
Yeah, no problem.
So where are you originally from?
I'm from Las Vegas, actually. So not a whole lot of us are born and raised here, but
yeah,
one of the proud, the few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it growing up in Las Vegas? Because I think if I was growing up in Las Vegas, because you know, like the casinos, like the strip clubs and all that shit, like you would grow up fast.
You don't see that a lot of the time. I think growing up in Las Vegas did a few things for me. I think Las Vegas is like a melting pot inside a melting pot. You got all kinds of people here all the time. You walk through the casinos, you can hear 5 different languages in 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I think it made me very like, I like variety. I like a lot of different ideas and stuff around me, and I'm pretty open-minded. Las Vegas is also a customer service city. Everybody here works in customer service in one way or another, so everybody respects customer service workers. So I feel like I grew up with a very strong sense of like treating people right, no matter what their job is, and like accepting people's lifestyles. So I think growing up in Las Vegas did a lot of that for me. It made me kind of a city hippie.
Is that something that, like you said, customer service, is that something that you know how when kids like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be a doctor. When you grow up in Las Vegas, is that, oh, I want to work in this fucking casino?
I wanted to do the normal stuff. Like, there were a few things. I wanted to I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be in the Marines for a while because I have a military family. Okay. And I scored high on the ASVAB, so there were recruiters after me for a minute.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't think I would have done great out there. I don't know. Maybe the structure would have been good for me.
Well, the Marines, a bunch of crazy motherfuckers in the Marines.
Yeah, I know for sure. But I got an 82, so they were like,
you should have went to the Air Force.
That's right? Well, my brother went into the Coast Guard, and he's pretty fucking happy living with his wife in Hawaii, so maybe I should have done that.
Yeah. Well, let's stay on that. Why didn't you go into the...
My mom needed me at home at the time. And,
she got sick or something?
No, my parents got divorced when I was like 14, which was awesome. My dad's a piece of shit, so I wanted to throw a fucking party.
Well, we had that in common.
Yeah, right? I think a lot of us have that in common. Yeah. But so my mom was like, you can't go off to the military and leave me. Like, what if something happens to you? And so, then I wanted to be a firefighter, and it was the same thing. Then I wanted to be in the police force, and that was the same thing. And then I found out how cops are.
Yeah.
But so that was very short-lived. I wanted to teach. I wanted to work in criminal psychology. There was a lot of stuff I wanted to do, but I ended up doing a lot of customer service jobs and working with people and figuring out how to talk to people and get people what they want and keep them calm in stressful situations.
What year did your parents get divorced? I mean, how old were you?
14.
14?
Yeah.
So, I asked this question. My parents got divorced, and I asked this question many times when people say that their parents got divorced. When my parents got divorced, I was glad because my father was abusive to my mother.
Yeah.
So I was happy that my mom left. But if divorce affects children in different ways, so how did it affect you?
So my dad was really abusive to me and my mom. But she didn't know that he was abusive to me. I actually have a video on my YouTube channel that goes in depth.
What type of physical abuse?
Everything. You name it. Broke my arm one time, all kinds of stuff.
Damn.
And so I was 14 and he moved out, and I hadn't felt that safe in my house ever. But then at the same time, I was really worried that he was going to break in and kill us. And so I stopped sleeping in my bedroom. I started sleeping in the living room on the couch right in front of the door. Yeah. And I think it made me very
You said your mom didn't know about this?
Well, she didn't. She's a really sweet lady, but she's got her own problems. So she was dealing with enough stuff. And in her mind, she was dealing with enough stuff that we wouldn't have to deal with any stuff. So no, she didn't really get that there was anything going on with me. So... and I'm going to keep it that way.
Okay.
But yeah, no, there's a whole deep dive on YouTube. So, but yeah, suffice it to say, divorce was one of the highlights of my childhood.
So did your life get better after they got divorced?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I'm assuming your mother got custody of you?
She did.
You have siblings?
I have my one big brother, and we only got $200 a month for child support. And she hadn't ever worked, so she, not ever, but not in a really long time. So we were living on around $11,000 a year for the household. And that was crazy. But now I do this, and I can send home money anytime I want, and it's the nicest feeling.
Parents still alive?
Oh yeah, my mom's still. I haven't talked to my dad in a really long time. So not since my grandma's funeral, a few years back. But
do you have an itch to fix it? Fix things?
Not at all. No. I heard he had a cancer scare or something, and I was like,
"Oh, you were hoping."
Man. Because it was
you were hoping for the cancer to take his body.
This is karma. He had to get a fucking colonoscopy, and I was like, I hope he has to get more.
Damn.
So no, I'm very much. I don't get it when people are like, oh well, but they're your family. No, I don't believe in any of that.
I don't believe in that either.
I don't believe in any blood loyalty.
Yeah. I mean, I have friends that I'm closer to within my own family.
Yeah, you pick your family.
Yeah.
And just because I happen to have a really shitty dad, I'd treat him just like I'd treat anybody else that did the same shit he did. I'm not going to cut him any slack just because we share some DNA.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after you graduated high school, Where did you go? Did you go to college?
I did. I got a degree. I don't like to talk about it though, because everybody knows I grew up in Vegas, and there's only like 2 colleges here, so that narrows shit down way too much.
So we're not going to say you went to UNLV. Well, what did you study?
I ain't saying that either.
You can't say that either?
It's too easy.
Damn.
Yeah. No, I've been doing this for about 9 years, and I've kept my privacy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of crazy. People all the time are like, seriously?
Yeah.
You know? So I'm going to hold on to that as much as I can. I'm pretty much an open book. But there's a couple things.
Okay. So when you finish college, well, let me ask this. When you were in high school, were you like a shy girl? What type of girl were you?
So
were you a jock? Were you a tomboy? What?
I was real quiet, and I was a goth kid for a while. Because I made friends with kids that were goth kids, and I really liked the style.
Like these emo girls that are out right now?
Not so much the emo stuff, but like the darker stuff and the more violent stuff, because it felt comfortable. And for a long time, that's why I wanted to do criminal psychology, because I really like listening to true crime and understanding why people do things. So it was an outlet for that darker part of myself. But yeah, I was really quiet and shy, and I kind of made friends with everybody, but not anybody. Like everybody was friendly, but nobody, like I didn't get invited to parties, and I still don't. And it's still kind of like that. I have a personality where people know they can rely on me, but maybe they don't think of me as somebody that they can have fun with, which is fine. And let's see. I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about you were talking about you're not popular. That's basically.
Yeah.
You weren't getting invited to parties.
Yeah. So I mean, I was a virgin until I was 21 too. So there's that.
Okay. Was that by choice, or it just didn't happen?
It just didn't happen. Like it just like there wasn't anybody I wanted to sleep with, and then I met somebody through like a family member, and then a college course, and like we started dating when I was 18. We had our first kiss when I was 18, and then
damn, you had the first kiss at 18?
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
Then I had sex with that guy when I was 21, and that was first everything. So we were together for 5 years.
Oh, just you guys were together?
Yeah, for 5 years. So first kiss, first everything. Yeah.
Do you still talk to this man?
No. I would. I totally would. But after 5 years, we just weren't compatible anymore. And he was happy with how things were, but I wasn't. So I tried to fix things, and I was like, we can talk this out. And he was like, I don't want to change anything, so I'm not changing anything.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I can't compromise anymore. And then he went off to Italy for 2 weeks on a work trip, and I moved all my shit out of the room for the 2 weeks, and I was looking for a place and all that stuff. And he was real surprised, and I was like, well, I told you I can't do this anymore, and you don't want to change. So do you want to change? No? Okay, this is it.
When you finished college, did you stay in Vegas, or did you like move away?
I've always lived here.
You always lived there, so you never lived anywhere else?
I've never lived anywhere else.
Wow.
I've visited other places, and there's just nowhere I've visited. The only place I've visited that I've thought I could live here was like Bruges, Belgium, and it's too cold there. But the people there are really nice, and I really enjoy like walking up and down the street and being able to talk to everybody.
I feel like San Francisco's calling your name.
You think? It's just so, I don't know if I could ever live in California. It's too expensive.
What?
I feel like I kind of want to buy like my mom moved to Texas a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because her mom lived there and she passed, and she still lives there now, and I kind of want to live closer to her. So I was looking at houses out there. You can get a fucking mansion for nothing out there.
Cheap as fuck out there.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that maybe.
So what's keeping you in Vegas? Like, why are you haven't left yet?
It's home. Like, yeah, like there's just nowhere else that I really want to go right now.
Are you the type of person who is scared of like drastic change in life?
No, I think I'm pretty malleable, honestly, and I don't need much. Like I don't, my hot water was out for a couple months, and I just didn't even tell any of my friends. I just didn't have hot water for a couple months. Like, and one of my girlfriends found out. I was like, hey man, I just don't want to deal with this shit today. Can I come over, take a shower? And she's like, you've not had hot water for 2 months. What the fuck have you been doing?
What the fuck were you doing? Taking cold showers?
I was heating up water if I wanted a hot shower. Like I had
like on the stove or something?
No, it was an upstairs downstairs thing, so there wasn't any bathtub downstairs. So I had an electric tea kettle and I'd dump it in the bathtub with some cold water and it would even out, and I'd just take a warm bath. But but I'm easy as shit. I've lived in conditions where I didn't eat for a few days, or we didn't know if the lights were going to stay on or whatever. So I can live anywhere and do anything now.
Okay. So when you finished college, you stayed in Las Vegas, obviously. Where did that take you? Were you just like? So did you get a job in a casino or some shit?
I tried to get a job. I tried to get a lot of jobs. I tried to get a job in my college career path, and no one was hiring for me. And so I ended up getting a bunch of different little jobs. Like I worked at Subway, and I worked at a grocery store, and I worked at a gas station, another gas station, and a pimp my RV type place where we would tear perfectly good parts out of RVs and put crazy like granite countertops and shit in there. Yeah. And I managed a print shop and a little sushi restaurant and stuff like that. So just kind of bounced around everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you passionate about, any certain subject or anything?
Yeah, I really wanted to do the thing that I went to college for that I can't talk about. But I kind of gave up on that. And so I was just trying to survive and trying to support my mom, and my brother was having some issues around then and needed some help. So I was just trying to work as hard as possible. I had 3 jobs and I was just never sleeping. Yeah. Yeah. And my boyfriend at the time, the second guy I'd ever dated, was like, why don't you just do camming? And I was like, what's that? And he showed me Live Jasmine, and I was like, that's a pop-up. That's a virus. You're going to destroy our computer. We have one computer.
Oh, you know what the fuck that is? What is Live Jasmine?
It's a live cam website. It pops up on Pornhub a lot. That's why I thought it was a virus. But yeah, so then I got into live camming. I watched cams for 2 months and decided I wanted to try it.
Wait. Let's not jump that fast.
Yeah.
Because, so you're saying your boyfriend at the time told you to get into this.
Yeah.
Now, how was the relationship with that boyfriend? Because I can't imagine me telling my girlfriend, yo, you should get into porn, or you should show your body to other men. Like,
well, there's a bunch of different like types of guys out there. This was the kind of guy that like, was
this an open relationship? What was like?
Yeah, actually, like almost all of my relationships have been open at one point.
And how old were you during this time?
23.
Okay.
So I had just gotten out of the relationship with the first boyfriend, and so I was looking for more like experiences, and I found this guy through a college club that I was in, and we only dated for a year. It was not a good relationship. Like it was a learning process, and I did learn a lot. But he liked seeing me with other people, and he liked being with other people and stuff like that. But like to an extreme extent, like he needed it, so it wasn't healthy. But I didn't know that.
Did you feel like it was like he like force?
No, I think we have to take accountability for our choices, and it was always my choice. Like no one ever made me do anything. I think that's kind of silly. Like
I mean, well, that's true. But did you want to do these?
Not really, but it still wasn't forced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's silly. Like
you were doing it.
I was doing it because my boyfriend wanted me to do it.
Yeah, you were doing it to please him.
In the same way that I would watch football with my boyfriend if he wanted me to.
Yeah.
It was the same kind of thing. Just to a more extreme extent. You know, just like maybe if your girlfriend likes watching The Real Housewives, you might watch it every now and then. Yeah. Like just to make her happy. It's like this is for you.
And then you might end up liking The Real Housewives.
You might, yeah. And sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't, and whatever. But yeah, that was a learning process, and he got me into it, and then cheated on me, so I dumped him, and then dated another guy that I found in the industry, so we were both working.
Wait. So you guys had an open relationship. How did he cheat
He fucked his ex-girlfriend who was really mean to me, like openly mean to me. Like I had a charity function where I was singing and she literally came with her friend and were making fun of me in the front row while I was singing for charity. Like crazy fucking mean girls shit. And we were at a party and he snuck off and fucked her.
How did you find out?
My friend walked in on them because they were in her bedroom.
Oh, wow.
And so she walked in her bedroom and saw them and she's like, I'm going to tell. And she ran upstairs and told me. And then I called the ex's fiance.
Was it the fact that you didn't like her?
Yeah, it was.
Or
this is a person that is actively mean to me. You could.
But if it was another chick, just another random chick, you wouldn't care because obviously you guys had an open
there's
relationship.
rules in open relationships too. Like, and we had a thing where we had to talk about it first, just to make sure that there were no issues that either of us didn't know. And so, not talking to me about it first would have been a problem, but doing it with somebody who is actively disrespectful to me is disrespectful to me. Yeah. And that's the main thing when I'm in a relationship. I don't want to be disrespected because I'm not going to disrespect my man ever. And if a man was being mean to my man, there's no way in hell I'd ever have sex with him. Like if my boyfriend now, if anybody ever were to say, because he's a performer, and if another performer were ever to say anything like negative about him, I'd just put them on my no list. Because it's like, you don't get to touch me. Yeah. Yeah, because that's my man over there. Like, I'm not gonna. What am I supposed? No. Ugh. So to do that to me is too disrespectful. I can't handle it. Yeah. Yeah. It's a no. It's like, I hope it was worth it. You never get any of this ever again. Enjoy that.
So you said you had your first kiss at 21?
18.
18. And you lost your virginity when?
21.
At 21.
Yeah.
So that's far. Based on like the average fucking teenager or whatever. Usually teenagers are fucking like 16 or 14 or 15, right? So, and the job that you have now, or the career that you have now, how did you become like so sexual?
Well, it was never.
If you started, so like what got you into like what was the tipping point where you were like, okay, I'm a very sexual woman?
I mean, I always was. It was just not. I've always been just very picky. But then finding camming where it's all online, where I can express myself sexually in the safety of my room and make money for it, that was the doorway. And then through that, I found sex work Twitter. And through sex work Twitter, I found men and women that I was attracted to who wanted the same kinds of sex as me. Yeah. And that was what I'd been waiting for. Like, I always wanted to do this stuff. I just didn't have access to other people who I was attracted to who also wanted to do it. You know, it's like going to a swingers party and no one there is anybody you'd want to play with. Yeah. That was life.
I had that experience before.
Yeah, I think everybody has. And that was life up until this, where I was like, oh, I have access to the people that I'm attracted to now. Okay, cool.
So when you first started camming, explain, were you like nervous? Like what was the setup? Like how did you? So
I'd researched it for a couple months and built a bit of a Twitter following in preparation. And I did it with a girlfriend of mine, and her husband was in the other room, like moderating the room. So it was the easiest intro to camming ever. And we made like $300 each that night, and I was freaking the fuck out because I was working 3 jobs at the time, 2 retail jobs and 1 restaurant job. And I was just like, oh my God, $300 and we had fun. Like,
I mean, what did you guys do?
Everything. We did anal and everything, like insane shows.
It was just you and her?
Yeah. We had strap-ons and stuff. Yeah. And it was crazy shows, and they would definitely cost a lot more money now. But back then, it was like, holy shit.
So before this first episode of camming, did you already experience all this sexual freedom?
No, not really. No, I had met people on AshleyMadison.com to experiment. So I'd met like 9 different guys on Ashley Madison, and
explain what Ashley Madison is.
AshleyMadison.com. Just guys, Google it. If you don't know what Ashley Madison is, it's a hookup website. It's a hookup website.
Okay.
It's marketed as a cheating website, but all the profiles that I used were singles profiles.
Okay.
And I met them at their houses to make sure they didn't have any toys or anything laying around. But yeah. So that was kind of my adventurous.
So that first episode, you were like $300. Boom, I'm hooked now.
It wasn't. The money was amazing, and it was like mind blowing that I could make that much money in a night. But it was the enjoyment of like talking to the guys, because there were over 6,000 people in the cam room watching, and we were talking to them and having the best time and laughing, and it felt like. I was in a giant room full of a bunch of friends that like understood me and who thought I was pretty, which was kind of a crazy feeling because I was not like popular cool girl or pretty girl or whatever. So it was like I'm being cheered on by all these men and this like male validation, which back then was extremely important to me.
Yeah. So a lot of people like hear that and then they're like, and then they will hear you like your situation with your father and your family. And then they'll say that you have daddy issues and all this shit. So do you think that your sex work is basically the equivalent of what you went through with your dad?
No, not at all the equivalent. I think there's definitely links where it helped me get a lot of shit out of my system. But I think I am who I am today in spite of my dad, less than like because of him. Because if I had gone with what like he wanted me to be, I wouldn't be anywhere near the kind of person I am today. You know? So I don't think that it's anywhere near the same thing because this is that was not consensual and this is completely consensual. It's very different. I'm in complete control. It's kind of like flipping it on its head. And that's good. That's very cathartic. Yeah.
So you, after camming, like after that first episode, how often were you doing it?
Oh, I did every night. Every single night for 8 hours minimum. 14 hours maximum every single night for 6 months.
8 hours a day?
Yeah.
Just live?
On live, yeah. Straight through, no breaks.
What the fuck is that? What are you doing for 8 hours?
Whatever I want. whatever we all want.
So like you can just get up and like, oh, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm going to go eat some breakfast.
But the camera will
be on?
No. I'm not going to leave. I'll walk out to go to the bathroom because you can't do that on cam, but I'll walk out. Kind of like a Twitch streamer, but I can get naked. Like it's a Twitch streamer, but with more freedom. Because like I do Twitch too, and there's so many times where I want to say something or do something, and I'm like, I can't do that, I'll get in trouble. But if I'm on like Chatterbait, which is my main cam site, I can do whatever the fuck I want. Like if I want to do a shot of tequila, or if I want to smoke a joint, or if I want to like masturbate, or if I want to like dance around naked, or if I want to make dinner or watch a fucking movie, like I can do any of it, and I can have thousands of people doing it with me. And then if they feel so inclined, paying me either for the appreciation of me spending my time doing this instead of doing something where I will definitely make money, or paying me to do things like Flash or whatever, which is extra funny when I'm in the middle of trying to do something. Yeah. Like I'll be trying to cook dinner and they're like, quick, twerk. It's like, okay, quick, dance to Weird Al's polka song.
Do you ever get weirded out by like people online and shit? Because obviously there's a lot of weirdos online.
There are a lot of weirdos online.
Has anything ever creeped you out?
Oh my God, yeah. I've gotten like a shit ton of death threats, like over 100 for sure.
Death threats?
Death threats and like violence threats and things like that. But it doesn't really...
There's like religious people like, oh, you shouldn't...
There's all kinds of reasons. There's like religious people that think like I'm teasing them specifically, people who think that I'm rude, people who think that I wasn't nice enough to them in my cam room for one reason or another. People that are just having a bad day and think I'm an easy target. Like, but it doesn't really ever bother me. I've only reported 2 of them to the police and nothing's ever come from either of them. I've only had one person show up in person at a place where no one should have known I was there. But like all I had to do was talk to him and tell him that wasn't appropriate and he left. Yeah. So it's the majority of, I think you cultivate your audience, and I have always had very clear boundaries with my audience. Like I tell them that I have a boyfriend. I tell them I'm not available to them, even if I don't have a boyfriend. I've based my entire everything on being completely honest and open. And I think that avoids a lot of the problems that you can have with a fan base not understanding boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still,
Yeah.
weirdos don't give a fuck about that.
I'm just saying it's kind of like mold. If you have a damp, dank environment, you're more likely to get mold. If you keep the sunlight in there, like, you probably won't get mold. You know, you might, but probably not.
Yeah.
So I like to keep the sunlight coming in.
What is the most money you ever made in one night camming? Did someone like drop? Oh, I'm giving you $5,000.
Actually, yeah.
Damn.
This guy Marcus tipped me either $3,500 or $5,000. I don't remember, for my birthday one year, but that was a long time ago. And then one year, the guys did a few thousand total, but it was 55 guys pitched in, and it was for a contest, and we came in third, and that was really fun because we spent the whole night just kind of goofing off, and they all sent. This is how close knit my fans are, and how much of a family it is. Those 55 people all pooled their money into one guy's account. So they trusted that guy not to just run off with over 55,000 tokens. It was like 53,000 tokens, I think, actually, now that I think about it. And a token is a nickel. So 53,000 something times 0.05 if you want to do the math on that. But they trusted him enough that they gave him all that money, and then he tipped it to me in one big tip, because the contest it had to be in a single tip. So I think that really shows like the level of camaraderie that we've developed.
How does it feel to have that power over men?
I don't know that that's necessarily me having power over them. I think just look at that scenario. I had none of the power. They decided to give me a gift. They had all the power and control in that situation. And so I'm not one of the performers that's like, my fans owe me anything or owe me money for my performances or anything. So I think a lot of the time they are in control. Yeah. I just encourage them to be considerate.
So you don't have the mindset of, how strippers, right? Strippers like, oh, I don't really care about this guy.
No,
I
don't.
I'm like brainwashing him to make him feel like I like him. I have the power. Like, I'm gonna get a tip and like money him to do all this other shit. So that's not your mindset.
No, that shit pisses me off, because here's an example. I've been selling worn clothing items for a really long time, because I have a kink for it myself. And there's so many girls who ask me for help starting that kind of business, and I'll get all excited because I want to help them. And then they'll be like, oh, well, I don't really wear the panties. I just rub some lube in them and it looks like... And I get so...
You said warm clothing?
Worn clothing, like worn underwear and stuff like that. Oh. So they'll just rub some lube in the crotch of the underwear so that it looks like a snail
trail. So you're talking about when people buy your panties with nut would come on them.
Yeah. Okay. So they'll fake it so that they don't have to bother, or they'll put coconut oil or something. And I get shaking mad. My hands start shaking. I'm so mad, and I give the worst lectures about seriously, because girls will talk to me sometimes, and not very often anymore, and I don't know if maybe I have a reputation now, but I don't ever talk to me about you not liking your fans, because that's your fans are a reflection of you, and so if you don't like your fans, maybe examine what you're putting out there. But there's no way in the fucking world I would ever manipulate or take advantage of these men, because I respect them and I know that they aren't treated very well necessarily by other performers. And honestly, I feel more brotherhood with them than I do with other performers a lot of the time.
You say you have a kink for it. Why do you have a kink for that?
I just do. I just like smelling girls' panties. It makes me happy. Yeah, if I hook up with a girl, I like to take her panties off and smell them. So.
When was the first time you ever hooked up with a chick?
I think I was 23, and my boyfriend at the time, the shittiest one. I really like when I'm dating somebody to pop cherries if they have any cherries left. And he had never had a boy girl threesome, so I asked my friend
Wait.
Yeah.
A boy, girl.
Yeah. So 2 girls, 1 boy.
Okay.
Yeah. BGG. So I asked a girlfriend of mine and I was like, hey, do you want to have a threesome with me and Max? And she was like,
why did you ask her specifically?
Because I figured
you wanted to fuck her, didn't you?
No, honestly, she was more like friend material to me, but I felt like she was safe as far as somebody to have like a threesome with. Like I felt like she was responsible and I felt like she wouldn't be competitive with me and we were friends. So I trusted her and he thought she was attractive. So I was like, okay, she's perfect. But she was more interested in me than she was interested in him.
She wasn't reluctant at all. She was like, why are you asking me this?
No.
She just said yes.
She was
I'll
like,
do it.
yeah. She was like, hell yeah. But then when we did the threesome, like she was way more into me than him, and so I felt really guilty. And then I ended up taking her in the bathroom, and I was like, hey man, like this is more for his birthday. Like we can do stuff, but like let's give him some attention because he's getting sad. And she was like, I'm sorry, I just really. And I was like, it's cool, but like I told you when we set this all up, this is for his birthday. So like, can't we?
So was she not like letting him fuck her?
It was not that. It was just more like there's a vibe in threesomes, and you can tell if everybody's into everybody, or you can tell if only 2 people are into each other, or something like that. And so I was like looking both of them in the eye and touching both of them and everything, and she was only looking me in the eye and only like casually touching him and stuff. And I was just like, "Bitch, come on!" I was like, "This is part of the enjoyment for me." So like, if you want to make me happy, like help me make him happy. So, but it was kind of a shit show. But that was the first time I was ever with a girl.
Did you hook up with her again after that?
No. Because I was very like, she had feelings, I think, more than just physical. And I was very much I only have feelings with my partner. Yeah. I don't have feelings with anybody else. So, and that's how I am now too.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, obviously you're bisexual, but you prefer men.
I do. I think I'm more feminine overall. And so I think a more masculine partner complements me, whether that's a very masculine woman or a very masculine man. Yeah. But it's always just happened where I'm more, it just happens where men approach me. Women don't really approach me. Like if I'm out and about, a man will flirt with me before a woman will. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I think that's kind of normal.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think women only flirt with women unless they're in like certain environments, like gay lesbian clubs or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's possible. Even then, even in those scenarios, I just don't really. I don't know. I think I come off as very straight, which I get, but. I get all my lady urges out with porn, which is great. Yeah.
So after you were doing camming, how did you transition into like? Because obviously, when people like search you, they're gonna go Pornhub, and you have videos after videos. So how did you transition from camming to actually doing porn videos? Like, how did you get discovered? So
I did not get discovered. After about 6 months of camming every single day, exactly 6 months of camming every single day, 8 hours a day minimum, 14 maximum. I started doing 5 days a week instead of 7. And I was getting on Twitter and my fans were asking me to film videos with other people and introducing me to other performers and stuff. And so I started producing content with other people. And so I was working with porn people, and I was like getting my own camera and stuff set up, and I was getting my videos edited and everything. So I was producing porn like 6 months in. So the only thing that changed in 2019 when I got into mainstream was I hired an agent and Hussy Models. And
I heard stories about these agents, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, we can get into that. And he, got me bookings with like more mainstream companies, but
like Bang Bros and shit like that.
Yeah, but it's not crazy different. Like really, the only difference is a lot of the time with content, there's less people on set, and it's less business-like because it's more chill. Like everybody's there to make something good, so nobody's like just there for a paycheck. Everybody actually wants to make a good video because they're getting the video. But yeah, it wasn't that big of a change, honestly. It was just less responsibility.
Do you remember the first like big production that you shot, and what company it was for?
I'd say some of the first big productions I ever did were for primalfetish.com. And they do superhero stuff and vampire stuff and werewolf stuff. And it's really intricate and special effects and stuff like that. So I'd say my first big stuff was there because I still had my blue hair. When I officially started doing mainstream, I dyed my hair black. So.
Is this your natural color?
It's a little darker than my natural color. So my natural color is more brown.
Are you Jewish?
No. Why?
You have the Jewish look, the pale skin, the black hair?
No, I'm Native American and French.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't go outside because it's Vegas. I was in Hawaii recently and people were like, holy shit, you got so dark. And I was like, yeah, I went outside.
Yeah. So when you, I mean, obviously you were doing these big productions, and were you nervous? Like, because obviously camming, you're in control of everything. And
Not
then when you
really.
go to like fucking, like, let's say you're filming for Blacked or like Bang Bros or whatever. I don't know how it is on set because I've never been on set, but I'm assuming there's more people than in your room when you're camming. So did you feel any type of nerves?
No, I've never really
Not at all?
No, people don't make me nervous. It's not great all the time because sometimes I'll just like wander into situations and not realize that maybe I should be nervous. But I don't know. I haven't had that many bad experiences with people. It's usually just things happening. So I think I'm just not really scared of people. I have had some, but like it's not the norm at all. So I think I'm generally not worried. Plus, I was very confident at that point. I'd had 4 years under my belt, at least, of like doing my own productions and having a good fan base and making solid fucking money. And I'd bought my house already and all that stuff. Like I felt like this is a fun thing I want to try. And if I don't do good at it, that's fine. I'll go back to what I've been doing. And you know, I'm gonna just do my fucking best and I'm gonna enjoy myself. And I did really fucking good. I shot over 135 scenes my first year in mainstream.
Damn.
Yeah. It was between 135 and 150. I lost count. But yeah, as soon as they started shooting me, they really liked me and it hasn't stopped. Like I could shoot almost every day if I wanted, but I don't want to.
Yeah. I feel, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, when women get into porn, I feel like they get into porn because they have a high sex drive. They climax very easily. Is that true?
Not necessarily. There's definitely girls in porn who are like that. I am not one of them. It'll take me about 15 minutes to come first time. Like, no matter what, it's just how it is. But, I mean, I did, especially back then, I had a really, really high sex drive. And, like, I had a bit of a masturbating addiction when I first started camming, and that got rid of my addiction right away. Because there's nothing like making the thing you have as an addiction into work to make you not really want to do it as much. So that was good for me, actually. It was a really good coping thing. And every time I take breaks, I think, oh, I'm good. And then as soon as I take like a few days off, I start getting like I get grouchy and anxious. And I'm like, oh, I need to come. So I had a bit of a masturbation addiction that went away with camming. And then I had a bit of I hadn't tried that much sexually. So I wanted to try everything before I got like older and people wouldn't want to do it with me. And so I kind of burned through trying all my firsts and everything. And now I'm real mellow. Now I'm real vanilla, and I really like waking up in the morning and having morning sex with my boyfriend, and then like just fucking chilling. Yeah, I'm not that crazy anymore. It did pull it all out of me, but I think at the beginning, I think I was a little more. Whoosh.
When you are doing scenes in like these big productions, like can you give a rundown on how like the day goes? Like when you do you have to meet with the person that you're performing with and like talk to him, be like, yo, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. Don't touch me like this. Touch me like that. Yeah,
most sets will make you do that, and some sets won't. But it's always good to do it. I always tell girls to do it, and guys. But so on a basic average set, because every set is different and they vary. Like some sets, I'll be there for 2 hours and I'll be done. Some sets, I'll be there for 14 hours and I won't be done. We'll have to come back the next day. So, but on the average set, girl shows up first around 9 a.m. Gets makeup done. Picks out wardrobe, does pretty girl photos. Involved? Okay. Yeah, you have to provide your own wardrobe. So I usually take a 50-pound suitcase with me, at least. And so we pick out wardrobe with the director, get dressed, take pretty girl photos, and then the guy shows up usually after or during pretty girl photos. You wave hi to each other. He goes, fills out paperwork. You go fill out paperwork. Usually chit chat. Do you know who you're filming with beforehand, or is this like a surprise? Yeah. So some people don't care. So some people don't know. I generally don't care. So I'll wait and see. But usually it'll be on your call sheet. So a call sheet, you'll get it in your email or on your calendar, and it'll say the date, the time, the address, the phone number for contact info for whoever's your contact on set. And then it'll usually say, like, this is the type of scene we're doing. Here's a script if there's a script. Here's the wardrobe we would like you to have. If you don't have these things, let us know. Or if you don't have these things, go buy them. This is the color we want your fingernails. Like,
damn, is that specific?
Yeah, it's sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes it'll just say, make sure your fingernails are done. Like if you have chip nail polish, you're going to get a fee because it looks bad on camera. If you're late, you'll get a fee. If you're X amount late, you'll get a kill fee for the day.
And when you say fee, they're just taking money out of
money out of your check. Unless you get a kill fee for the day, and then you're paying that out of pocket. You don't get paid anything because you're not doing the day. So like if I'm 2 hours late to set, which is insane. No one should be 2 hours late to set. They would just kill the scene because they have to pay a location fee. So they have to, every hour they're there, they're paying money. So if you're 2 hours late and you're that far behind schedule, they're going to have to pay so much money, it's not worth it anymore. So they'd rather just pay that little bit of money and then take that money out of your pocket to cover it than waste the whole day. So there's stuff like that. So a normal day, show up 9 a.m. or 8 a.m., makeup, hair, talk to the director, wardrobe, go over the script, do paperwork. You have to do an entry and exit video where you're like, hey, I'm this person, this is my legal name, here's all my information, and yes, I do want to be here.
Do you have to show like STD free?
Yep. I get tested every 14 days for a blood test, and every 14 days for a urine test, and then every other day for a COVID test. Yep. And it's $190 for the full panel every 14 days, and then $35 every other day for the COVID test.
That you have to pay out of your pocket?
Yes.
So it's basically no health insurance, obviously, right?
No, because you're a private contractor. I'm not an employee. I'm not an employee of anybody but myself.
Okay.
So, but yeah, then you do paperwork, you do your entry videos. That's when normally you'll start the dialogue of the scene. So then we'll go through all the intro and everything. Maybe they want to shoot it out of order. So they want to shoot certain things now, certain things later. And then when you get to the sex part, you go like freshen up. And then, some people shower. Some people just like wipe down. Some people douche. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that people do right before they start to get like in the groove. And then you meet and you take a second, you talk about like, hey, I don't like these things. Don't do these things. And hey, if there's anything that happens during the day that you don't like, just say stop, or just like fucking get up. Like at any point in time, every set tells you like, if you're uncomfortable at any time, just tell us. Like, we just need you to, your job as a porn performer is to communicate when you're uncomfortable.
Yeah, I remember I saw a porn video of Mia Khalifa. And she literally looked like she was being raped. Like, she did not look like she was enjoying it. Her face was shown like, I don't want to be here. I feel like I was being raped. Now, obviously, that might not be the case, but looking at that video, I was like, yo, this girl literally looks like she does not want to be doing this. Has there ever been a time where, I'm not saying this was your situation, but there has ever been a time where you met a guy that you're performing with and you're like, I'm not attracted to this man, but I have to have sex with him?
Well, I don't have to do anything. If I don't want to work with somebody, I don't have to. Like, so if there were ever a time like that, I would just be like, all right, well, I'm going to pay a kill fee. I'm going to leave, guys. Bye. Like, because
How often does that happen?
Never. Literally, it's never happened. I think that's a misconception about porn, because what happens is, if you do care about who you're working with, or if you have a no list or anything like that, you can just choose not to work with people you don't want to work with. Yeah. Yeah. Like, there's never anything that's like, oh, well, you have to work with these people. Like, ever. I could show up and just be like, I'm not feeling it. And then I have to pay a kill fee, which is fair, but I don't have to do it. Yeah. You know? That's
But I'm assuming that every man that you ever worked with was not attractive to you.
Anybody that I've ever worked with, I was able to find something about them that I liked enough to have sex with them.
Oh, his shoes look nice. That type of shit?
No. Like, maybe they're a good father. Like, maybe they make me laugh. Maybe they're just a nice person. Maybe they're a really good performer and I like how they study their script. Like, but...
Do you think that's harder? Like, your scene is not going to be as good as it is if you were, like, attracted to the man?
No, not at all. I think that's just how I am as a person. I'm not terribly concerned with physical appearance. You know, there's very few physical appearance things that would pull me out of the moment. And like, I've dated a wide range of people. Like, I'm not going to say that I find everyone physically attractive, but you don't have to find somebody physically attractive to want to like rock their world sexually. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did the bang bus recently, and I did the reverse bang bus. So I picked up 3 guys, and they were all non-performers.
No, that's the thing. I don't want to interrupt you, but is that bang bus shit really real?
They were all fucking...
You're picking up actually random people on the street.
It was fucking amazing. They were strangers to me. So here's what I think happens.
Because I don't believe that shit.
Here's what I think happens. So they have to all be tested, but they also all have to wear condoms.
So these niggas are not just random people that you're just picking up.
I had never seen any of these people before in my life. They were complete strangers to me. Like, okay. But we would drive down and they'd be like, I think there's somebody on this street.
So they're planted there.
But I don't fucking know them.
Yeah, but you don't know them, but the people... So they're not really...
Well, it wouldn't be safe to just literally pick people up off the street.
Well, that's what I thought it was.
But I think what they do is they drive the van around, because I don't know how they find these guys. That's the thing. So I think that's where the actual bang bus happens. So they drive the bus around and they grab people off the street and they're like, hey, do you want to do the bang bus? And then they sign up. They go through a check to make sure they're not fucking crazy. And they do a STD test, which the company pays for. And then they're like, all right, be on this street at this time. This corner, yeah. And then if they're not there, they don't get fucking picked up. Like, so I think they literally just told these guys, hey, show up on the street around this time. Because, like, I had never met any of these people before. Okay. Yeah, it was crazy. It was the best thing ever. I want to do another one.
Oh, you liked it?
Oh my God, it was great.
I think I saw you on, I think I mentioned it on Twitter. Like, I need to do this bang bus again.
Yeah. So that was my example, because, like, there were guys in there that I wasn't physically attracted to, but they were also like nice and like nervous and shy, that I was like, oh my God, this is going to be great. Like, I was like, I'm going to make this the best day ever for you.
Does that turn you on when you like?
Yeah. I like shy, sweet guys. Not necessarily to date, but to like work with. Oh my God. They're my favorite. Brand new guys who are like shy and sweet. Arrogance turns me off. Yeah. Arrogance is an absolute no for me. I can't handle it. It pisses me off.
Why do you think, because I've heard so many stories about women, especially white women, who work with black men in the porn industry. And I've heard many podcasts when they're interviewing like porn stars, and they're like, oh, I was told not to work with black men until I'm like already already established and my career is going down there, because if you first get into the game and then you start working with black men so soon, it's a bad look on your I don't know, on your fucking
I don't know.
on your shit.
I don't know about any of that because I had already worked with black men in my own content before I started doing mainstream.
But I'm pretty sure you heard this, right? Like,
no, because no one ever told me any of that. Because I mean, and I don't know if that's because I had already worked with a variety of people, but my agent never said a word about that. But my agent also represents a lot of black men and a lot of men from like different racial backgrounds. So I think he's more. I don't know. I think he's more chill about all that stuff. Like he doesn't think about all that stuff. But I'm sure somebody said that to somebody at some point, but I never got that. My agent was the kind of agent where he was like, nobody in this agency better ask me for an IR rate. Nobody. You'll be out of the agency like that. Like, because we don't do that. We don't do different rates for different people. Like you can do a big dick rate, but which can go for anybody. Because there's some of the biggest dicks that I've fucked in porn have been white guys, honestly. Like if you look at
don't lie to the American public.
No, look at Kyle Mason.
I don't know who that is, but
it's like getting fisted, or oof.
I always say when like guys brag about the, oh, my dick is so big, like a baby comes out of a girl's vagina.
Yeah,
your dick is not the size of a 9-pound baby. So what the fuck are you bragging about?
I don't even like giant dicks.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like I was working with somebody. I was working with Brad Newman the other day, and he's got a fucking baby arm. And we were fucking for work, and we cut, and he's like, "You good?" And I was like, "You're not a 2-day in a row guy. Like you're just not." He's like, "You don't think you'd get used to it?" I'm like, no, fucking never. It's been years. I've never gotten bigger or used to bigger dicks.
So obviously, I'm pretty sure you heard this question many a time. So you have sex for a living, you get paid for it. How do you, like, when you get paid to do something, and then how do you differentiate like the sex life with your boyfriend?
Oh, it's easy. It's super easy. He's actually here. He just got here to pick me up.
Okay. You want to invite him in? Should we get him? Should we get him on the mic?
Oh, he probably don't want to come in. But we're going to go to dinner, and we're going to go do like an escape room and stuff like that.
Okay.
We're one of those cute kippers. Here, one sec. Thank you, baby. I'll be right down. It's so easy. Sex with him is better than sex with anybody else ever. Like, and that's crazy to me. Because he's the best sex I've ever had, which is really nice. But it's also that connection. When you're working, like you're opening up, you're not in a comfortable position. And I don't have that intimate connection with the other person. It's more like, it's like playing a game of basketball with a buddy is more like the vibe of shooting a scene. When I'm in a relationship. When I'm not in a relationship, maybe I'll try to foster more of an intimate feeling if the person's single. But like I respect other people's relationships because I don't like getting cheated on. And fucking my boyfriend and I are monogamous other than work. So there's no room in my heart for an intimate relationship with anyone else. So it's extremely easy. It's when I go on set, I'm just like, "What's up, man? Like, let's shoot a fire scene and get the fuck out of here because I want to go home and cuddle my boyfriend."
Is there any? Do you ever get jealous? Like if you find out your boyfriend is like working with Riley Reid or something?
No, not at all. Because I know that we love each other, and work is work. Like it's just, it's never even really something I think about.
Do you watch his scenes? Like his
I masturbate to his scenes sometimes. Yeah.
Does he watch your scenes?
I think he used to. He used to be a fan before we met and started dating. So, which he tells everybody, which is the only reason I'm comfortable saying that. Because I'm a fan of him, so it's just kind of.
Well, I know you have to leave.
I
so
do.
Can you tell what is one thing that you hate about your industry and one thing that you love?
One thing I love, which is easier, is I love how accepting it can be of different people. I think it's a very loving and giving community when you're seeing the good side of it. A lot of people in porn donate a lot of money to charity and give back to their communities, and I really like that. That's very attractive to me. I do the same thing. And but something I don't like is it can be very catty and competitive and like middle school style interactions. But that's not the majority of people. That's a small section of people, but they're very loud. So sometimes it can look like the adult industry is very like catty and petty, but the majority of them aren't. So I wish I could fix that part.
If a young lady wanted to get into porn, give an advice on how she should go about it.
I would say definitely make sure that you're okay with everybody you know knowing. You have to go into it with that mindset that literally everyone in the world will know and that's fine. Once you take about a month to process that, talk to people who are in the industry about your goals and about the possibility of being able to achieve your goals because, that's important. I think a good little reality check before you get in is really important. And then I think ask yourself, are you ready to be your own boss? Do you have enough work experience to manage your own business? And if not, maybe you should do some normal jobs first.
Do you think the best route to get into porn is signing with a company and do like big productions like Bang Bros and all them other companies, or just do your own shit and do OnlyFans?
Do your own shit. Do your own shit and build a name for yourself, and the companies will come running. Like build your own fan base first. Have your own stability, and that'll be the last one. Because I gotta get going.
All right. Well, Alex, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate you. You are a very fascinating woman, and thank you for enlightening me with your life story. So this is Everyday Celebrity Podcast.
Thank you.
And we are out. You.